Hello again. I'm glad that you could join us for the Confident Rebuild Project. Men's Division, Week 2, Emotional Control. If you can't pause, you're not in control. If your emotions decide your reactions to things, then you're not leading yourself. You're reacting to all the different things in life. Strong masculine men, they make sure that they pause. For me, emotional control didn't look like some big angry explosion going off. It was more just normal, nonchalant reaction. The triggers were usually really simple. I'd get asked to do something I just didn't want to do. And I didn't even realize it at the time that it was happening, that deep down inside, this little boy that was inside me was just taking over. It wasn't the man. The old me would react by explaining, by defending what was going on. I was just trying to prove why I was right. And that other person, whoever it was, they're wrong. And really, I paid for that. Not just with the tension, but with the trust. Honestly, the reaction patterns, that's what contributed to me losing my marriage, because I wasn't actually communicating. I was just trying to win. At first, the pause wasn't discipline. It was really fear. Fear of saying something that would just cause this big fight, and fear of just being misunderstood. So sometimes the pause was intentional. It was. And sometimes it was just, well, accidental, really. But inside that pause, that's when I really noticed kind of what was happening. Like I could feel my stomach like getting into knots. My mind just started racing, and all I started thinking about was, how can I fix this? What repairs can I use? And I was in control. And I was making all these assumptions about the other person and about what was happening. And then I decided what the other person meant and really treated it like the truth without really asking. Underneath it all, it was anger, and there was a lot of pain. And I really felt misunderstood, and I had all this nervous tension going all around, and a lot of self-doubt, really. So I did the work finally. And I read the books, I took in podcasts. There's a lot of professionals that I went to, and there's a lot of good things out of it all. Don't get me wrong. That's what helped me in a lot of areas. And I went to counseling, and I found an awesome counselor, and I recommend that. But one thing that hit me the hardest from all this, most communication is listening. It really is. Not waiting to talk, but actually just listening. So I went through one of the books that helped me, which was through Gottman, and it's the 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. And this time I just didn't only read it, I actually did. I felt it deep inside it as I was going through it. And I was replaying the moments in my head of the past, my past marriage and what was going through, and I started seeing patterns. And I took a highlighter as I was studying all this, and I must have highlighted like half this book. And not to say, well, look at me, look at all this, but it was like a mirror looking back at me to say, look at all these things. And slowly, a pause started becoming something else. I could see it starting to become like power. Instead of controlling things just to win, I started getting curious. I started wanting to listen to others to understand them. I put myself into their shoes like I was seeing it through their eyes. I was feeling it through them. And this outcome, when I started doing this, really changed my life. Not because I was getting better at like arguing and stuff, but because I got better at attunement. Afterwards, I just started feeling a lot more connected, more compassion for people, and I just had more of an understanding of things without being reactive. And I had better leadership skills. Here's the hope I have for you. Emotional control isn't about shutting yourself down. Really, it's about staying present in the moment when it would be easier just to react over things. Because when a man can pause, he creates the space. And in that space, then you actually have a choice. You have a choice to listen instead of defending things, a choice to really understand instead of assuming things inside your own heads. You get to choose yourself. One regulated man can change the entire dynamics of everything if you do the work and you learn this stuff. You don't need to overpower the tension. You just need to be grounded, really. And I believe that's where the real strength is. That's where the real strength begins through this. And the more you practice the pause, the more natural it starts becoming to you. Really, this isn't about perfection. This is like leadership. And it starts with a pause. So really what I want you to get out of this week, it's not about winning these arguments. It's about learning how to pause and lead your own self. And I really hope this is what I want from you, that if this connected to you in any way, just letting you know that you don't have to do this alone. You can join inside our group, the Confidence Rebuild Project. It's the men's division. I'll leave a link in the YouTube notes. It'll be here. You'll be able to get in there. And it will be cool once you start practicing this pause. Just the transformation I really believe that you'll start having in your life. And I really hope that you can get into the Confident Rebuild Project men's division and just keep building with us. And thank you so much for your time. And thank you for listening.